Hello, my name is Catherine Baylor and I'm going to show you today how to make a Google form that is gradable when you put it onto Google Classroom. So what I have here is a Google form that was brought up from my Google Drive. It is the template. This is exactly what it should look like for you when you open up a new form. So I'm going to walk through just some basic steps with you first in case you haven't worked with form before, and then I will show you how it turns into being gradable. So the first thing that you would want to do is to title your form. So if I wanted to do Heredity Quiz 6th grade as my title, what's nice is if you come over here, this will also change it to the title that you want it to be, and that also saves it automatically into whichever folder that you're wanting it to be in. In the description, you can kind of give a brief overview into what the quiz is going to be about. For today's purposes, I'm not going to fill it in, but you could say something like refer to your heredity notes. This is a quiz that cannot be taken with your notes, whatever kind of information you want to put in there. The first thing that I like to do in all of my form quizzes is to require a name in the short answer, because although it does automatically, or you can make it automatically collect their emails, I do like them to type in their names because sometimes their emails are harder to know which kid they're coming from, especially if you have a lot of kids. And if you have multiple classes, I like to make my second class, or my second question, having them choose which class they are in or which homeroom they are in. That way I can kind of keep it organized in that way. And just make sure that this toggle is moved over, meaning that it is required, and that way they don't have to submit the form without answering that it does make it required for them to answer it. How I ended up getting a new question is in this area, this bar over here. I hit this plus button to add a new question. And you also saw me changing this area here. This allows me to change what kind of question I'm wanting to ask. If you are wanting it to be graded, it does only happen to grade a certain amount of questions that you ask. You can have certain point values associated with other questions, but it will not grade it for you. So for example, like if you ask a short answer question, you can go in and grade it afterwards, but if you're wanting a really quick quiz or an exit ticket where you can quickly see what questions students got right or wrong, I would highly suggest doing the multiple choice option. So here is where you would write your question. So if I wanted to write something like DNA is shaped, well, let's see, DNA is in the shape of blank. I would then also like to make it required. I can have a couple different options. I could have helix shape. I can then go to add option and it would give me another option. So I could say that it's shaped like a circle, a ladder, or pyramid are my three answers. Okay. If I wanted to have a question that was literally identical to this, I would hit this duplicate button and it would give me the exact same thing. So maybe I wanted the same answers, but I wanted to change the question just a little bit. I could have that option. And if I don't want to do that, I can hit the delete button and it will delete it for me. It's also nice because if I wanted to, I could add any pictures that I wanted. I could upload them from my computer, or I could get them from the drive. There's lots of really other great things that you can do with Google Forms on here. But again, my purpose today is just to kind of show you how to make it gradable. So if you're going up here and you see this little cogwheel, the settings button, this is where you'll see the general settings of the form. If I wanted to collect the email addresses, I could. I typically like to collect the email addresses. If it is a quiz that I'm not wanting them to redo again, I'll limit to one response. Sometimes I might have them be able to edit after they submit if it's not really something that I'm wanting to grade right then and there. Or if I want, maybe it's a survey and I want them to see the summary of the charts and text responses, I'll do that. But for our purpose, I'm not going to do that. I can go back and forth between these other things without having to press save, which is nice. If I wanted to go to the presentation bar, I could have a progress bar, which basically says after they answer a question, it says you are 25% done with the quiz. And then if I answer another question, you are 50% done with the quiz. I could do that, or I could shuffle the question order, which is nice. You could also change the response if you wanted to, like awesome job, or have out a book if you are done and read quietly at your seat, something like that. But what I want to do is go over to this quizzes area, and I want to make this a quiz. So I have a couple different options that I can choose. I can either say that I want them to release the grade on Google immediately after they submit, or later after I manually review it. This would be if I had like a short answer question that I wanted to grade individually, or if I really just did not want anyone to kind of know any of the answers right or wrong until afterwards. I would do later after manual review. I can also choose to show them if they have answered the form, if they got any missed questions, the correct answers, and the point values. Typically, I don't give them the correct answers. I do allow them to redo exit tickets if they are not confident in the grade that they received. But it would be nice for them to know which ones they actually got wrong. So I'm going to hit save. And now what's different is that on any of the questions that I have created, if they are the multiple choice or any of them, I'll see this answer key option. And if I click on that, it'll give me the answer key for the certain question. So I can associate a point value to it if I wanted to, and I can select the correct answer. I could also give answer feedback. So if it was incorrect, I could say, please go back and look at this slide for your answer. I could do a link to it for maybe a video for them to watch. I could also do a correct answer feedback, which is really, really great. I can then go back and edit the question, and there the question is ready to go and have a student complete it. After that, I can then go, so this is again just a very basic form. If I wanted to change, the color of it, I could change the background of it, of course, to make it more exciting and cute. So then what I can do is I can go to my Google Classroom. So this is actually my Google Classroom page for my 6th grade science class. I can hit the plus button at the bottom of the screen to create a new assignment. And I can say heredity quiz. I can give the instructions again if I wanted to. I could select a due date. Again, this is why Google Classroom is so awesome. I can connect it to whichever unit I'm working on right now. And then I can just pull up my recent files and it'll add it right there. And what's really, really great, which is new, is this grade importing option, which it imports any of the grades from the quiz automatically into Google Classroom. So after the students have submitted their grades, it'll come up in Google Classroom and it'll say, these students are done, these students are not done, and then it'll say, import existing grades, and it'll have your class list in order, and it'll associate all of the grades to them that way. So that is how you go about creating a Google form that is able to be graded once it is linked to Google Classroom. I hope that this was helpful for any of you who were confused about that. If you want to email me, if you are still confused, I would be more than happy to explain that again, or to maybe give some optional or additional feedback for you if you are confused. Have a great rest of your day.